muscles, posture, nutrition and health. And you will have to come up with a minimum of 3 topical tests, which will make up for the 20%. If you want to have topical tests for each of the topic, do so. Okay, but minimum you can do, the minimum that accounts for the 20% is 3 topical tests. Right, we'll move down. Here we go, we have an example of a task sheet on bones. And you see this blue box here, where to find. It says this, refer to Appendix A1, page 16 for the rubrics of this workshop. Rubrics, we will explain it straight after this. This is one of the highlights of our session here. And then it says that questions in this unit can be used to assess content knowledge. So this blue box will help you where to find the rubrics, where to find the extra worksheets for that particular section of the handbook. I was wondering if you could scroll down all the way to the appendix. Down all the way down. The appendixes should be there. Scroll down. Can I check with all of you? Do you have the appendices on your laptops? Just the letter only. Okay, we'll pass it to you, upload it after this, okay? So the appendices will be there, and the rubrics will be in the MacBooks. Right? Sorry for that. We'll be using it for every session, so we'll upload a new PDF form straight after this. How do we assess in PE? Can I ask all of you if you want to share with us, how do you assess your students in PE? Anyone who would like to share? Any idea? Have you been assessing your students in PE? Yes? No? Okay, now, these are some of the ways that you can do assessment in PE. By observation, by looking, using checklists, whether your students are doing the proper skill. Let's say in the preparatory form, whether the student is throwing their hands back, checklist. Okay, that's by observation. You can use videotaping to help you as well, which is what we are doing with our PE O-level. We use videotaping to assess their skills. And then you can use it by inquiry, portfolios. This is, it's sort of a book where the students will collect all the reflections, the journals, the work into one particular booklet. So it's like a reminder of them, of what they've done throughout the year. Analysis, this is where they take a particular concept and then maybe they put it into a different way of assessing. You want them to present in a role play, to sing, to dance, that particular concept of the lesson, that objective. Okay, then we move on. And then we have written tests. As usual, your MCQs, your essays. Okay, this is part of what you can do to assess in PE. What is a rubric? Do any of you know what a rubric means? Yes, no? Do I have teachers here? It seems like everyone's busy writing everything down. Do you know what rubrics are? Any ideas? No? Right. Now, yes? Yeah, it's an assessing tool or a guide for the PE teacher. It's a scoring guide, how you can assess a student. Master gave you a hard copy of a rubric for bones. It's right in front of you, yeah? Okay, so this is a sample of a rubric, what you can do, a sample of it. And you have their domains, and then you have the level of performance. In it, describes every single objective that needs to be achieved in order to get that particular grade, right? It helps the teacher to evaluate your student. So you give this rubric to your students, and as well as for you, and it will help and guide you to see where that student stands, which grade he or she belongs to. And the student themselves as well will know whether if they're in a level 3, let's look at your rubric. It says they're good, and then if your students read it and he wants to improve more onto level 5, the student will just follow the guidelines that state there. So it's both for the teachers and the students, okay, to progress further. Why do we use rubrics? We can use it for nearly every single activity, and you can just modify it, right? We'll give you in the handbook, we're giving you the assessment. Alright, we give you a standard rubric. From there, you can modify it accordingly to your students' needs or to the activities that you have chosen. And then it helps you to be accurate as well. Because let's say you have 40 students in the class. It'll be difficult for you to gauge where you stand. So maybe just because you like this person, you give them a high score. But with the rubric, it'll be unbiased. Okay, because it's a clearly stated objective there, and it is consistent. That's what we're going to do throughout the workshop. We're going to work on the rubrics, try it out, and you are going to modify some of them as well. Alright, I'm going to pass over the mic to Masnoor because she can explain what this rubrics is all about.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, good morning. Okay, just to continue on. Analytic rubric is, it specifies the criteria to be assessed at each performance level. What you have with you, the one that I've given out earlier on, is an example of analytic rubric. This is what we're going to use for most of our units. For example, the project work will be based on this. Okay, because there is another type of rubric, which is the holistic one, but we're not going to touch on it for now. Okay, how we're going to work on from now is for each unit we actually provide a standard rubric. But as Lisa mentioned earlier, you can modify it. Okay, you can modify according to your students' abilities. Okay, it's always flexible, and as long as it's reliable, you test it on among your teachers. Okay. Alright, it also provides a separate score for each criteria. What I have with you, what you have now, you can actually add another extra column to show the total marks gained for each criteria, or we call it domain. So, as I said. Okay, this is basically a standard format template that if you want to start on to create your own rubrics. Okay. On the top corner, one of the features is you have the level of performance. You either use numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can use the words to describe it. For example, whether you want excellent, very good, satisfactory, etc. Okay, on the left-hand side, we always cover with the criteria, or what we call it, domains. Either way, it's all in sync. Some suggest similar meanings, criteria, or domains. The descriptors are the statements. Okay, these are the words like to guide you on where to place your students. Okay, it's like a checklist, right? Okay, with level of performance, we always start with the excellent, the best part first. So that is the first thing the student will look at if they are to show this rubric. Okay, we want them at first instance to see what is the best achievement that can do. Okay, the criteria, this is it actually for every topic. Okay, for example, on the theory side, you might cover more on the content knowledge. But for example, in FMS, we will covering more on the skill, execution, etc. Okay, we will get to practice on this, how to use rubrics, okay, throughout